Welcome to Reading Wisdom by the author James Lynch and his ever dutiful note taker, Cardistry. Hello, Perceptive Readers. This is James Lynch. In this Babylon 5 commentary of the fate of Bester, all the attributions to the copyright is mentioned in part 1 of this. Here it is. We're on this Reading Wisdom comments on Bester. This will be number 3, I believe. Yes, it should be number 3 in the order that we're going in. I'm still picking up on the prologue where we left off at. And as you know, I have a coffee in my hand. My coffee very hot. And I take my time with this reading, you see, looking directly at the pages before me. So I got the book in my hand. And so let us go ahead and continue along in this prologue. Joseph snapped his head. At the same moment, a psychic attack cracked into his shields. Only yards away, a man-shaped blob dropped towards him. The attack was strong and simple, aimed at a paralyzing even as he tried to close the contact of his PPG. He found his finger wouldn't move. He had killed the boy once before a Cyclops had found him. He didn't remember much about the fight, only that he had been losing until the anger woke in him. A fury so cold and brilliant it made him feel like a giant. When they had pulled him off the older kid, he already pulped in his head with a rock. Begay had been 12, a minor, and so had been remanded to juvenile court. That's when his psych powers were discovered, and that's when the corpse had given him absolution and a new life. 10 years ago, he was a new man, except for the anger. It came now, a sheer, shuddering blast, meeting the dark wind that was slamming into him head on and pushing it back. The monster was terrifically strong, but he didn't have to win the psychic duel. He only had to move his finger just a fraction of an inch. Perceptive reader, let's stop right there for a moment. As you notice, especially with my eyes kind of fluctuating in the focus on this book, today, I have to pause here and there to grasp, you see, my focus on this book. I wanted to tell you that. Yeah, it's interesting that as I read this account, this battle that is going on between Begay and this monster, remember he was even flashing back, if you will, to his history, his origin, if you will, how he had actually gotten to this point. Now, remember, it's been a long time since I read this book, but already just by reading these first several paragraphs in the prologue, I am starting to recall what was going on in this psychic battle. And who Big actually happens to be. Okay. So, all the same, if you happen to already maybe pick this book up from the library, you see, and you're following along with me, I feel confident that you're going to actually be able to read along more at a smoother pace. That's my next point that I want to mention. Something that I can still recall, that even though I really thoroughly enjoyed reading this book, I do remember again some of the writing style at times was like, oh, it didn't always feel as smooth, even in my mind when I was reading it, as I actually expected it to go. Okay. Yet, see, here's one of the points that I do remember. I still remember in time, once I got into the rhythm of the author, of the way that he was writing this, I wasn't even having that type of you know, slow down even in my, just reading in my eyes. And it just, and remember, my eyesight was a lot better back then. I don't even think I was wearing glasses when I read this book the first time. That's how good my eyesight was. But all the same, I just wanted to share that with you because I'm going to continue. This is a psychic battle that is going on with this monster, okay? And so I'm going to pick up where I left off, where we're going to say we're in his new life, okay? He was a new man, except but for the anger, okay? So now let's go ahead. The shaft lit with green light once, twice. In the second blast, he saw a nebula of ice crystals already billowing out from one rupture. And that hideous monster's mind went out. Yay, he shouted. I got the bastard. I thought he wanted him alive. Herbst cast. Well, maybe if you've helped, he had me. In another second, he would have been on me, taken my weapon, killed us both. You didn't give me time. There wasn't any time. Besides, this saves the trouble of a trial, doesn't it? Swift justice. He felt Herbst's disapproval. That's not the way we do things. That's the way he did things. You were here. You saw I had no choice. Yeah, he's dead, right? As dead as lead. Well, take the body back. He flipped on his hand lamp, and the sudden illumination made him blink. His first shot had split the faceplate open, and what he could see through the mirror-like surface was a real mess. The second shot had taken him in the chest, from which mist still drifted. Moments later, they were back in open space, navigating towards the distant transport. He noticed Herbst was favoring his left hand. Joseph reactivated his link. Begay, for the last time. Easy, boss, we got him. There followed a satisfying pause. Really? Yeah, I had to take him down. But it was him, all right. Well done. Is that Herbst or Cortez with you? Herbst? He was having comlink trouble earlier. Where's Cortez? I don't know. He was on the surface. Well, he isn't there now. Must have gone around to the sun side. He would have reported. Maybe not. Or maybe he didn't want to say it. Maybe the monster had claimed one last victim. We'll find him. Let's get this stiff inside. I'm starting the lock cycle now. By the time they had reached the transport, the outer airlock was open. They drilled in, and Joseph closed the hatch and cycled it. A few moments later, the inner door opened, and they were surrounded again by friendly, breathable air. Joseph unlatched his helmet. It popped out of its gasket with a sigh. The corpse floated ghost-like, its blood now liquid and drifted into tiny heads. Joseph remembered other stories now of Chindi, the evil spirits of the departed, which cause illness. Maybe he should arrange to have a ghost way done when he got back home. He didn't exactly believe in that stuff, but he didn't exactly not believe it either. Still, Chindi or not, he couldn't resist. While he fumbled at the collar of the monster's suit, he heard the soft hiss of Herbst taking off his helmet. The PPG had done a lot of damage, frying skin and cartilage, and explosive decompression had done even more. It took him a few seconds to piece together Herbst's features. What? Chindi? His mind stretched. Simple, really, a voice said from behind him. An old trick transposing. I did it the first time when I was only 6 to win a game of cops and blips. Joseph went for his PPG, but this side assault was even stronger than the one before. He managed to twist another that he could see the man standing over him. Then everything froze. It was the monster, looking much as he did in his photographs, except that his face was composed, serene. His dark eyes were touched, not by anger or madness, but by quiet melancholy. He was holding a PPG. I matched the switch with that earlier attack. As I said, simple. And now you let me on your ship. Thank you. Joseph felt his hand inching towards the weapon. He could do it again. He could. I killed you, filthy, the monster said, and then chuckled as if it were a joke instead of nonsense. Then everything flashed green and something hot stabbed Joseph in his chest, and he tasted fire in his mouth. We're going to stop right there, perceptive reader, and when we pick up next time, you will see when Bester comes in. Have a very wonderful day and take care.